happy to be here. Woo! It is called Pop Culture Needle Drop for those of you that are old enough to know what a record player is. And we are here to celebrate movie music, which is my favorite thing in the world. As they know, I'm very annoying about film scores and soundtracks, so hopefully you guys are too. And I'd like to present our panel. To my right, my favorite comedian and schmo, Mark Ellis, who still hasn't beaten me at Words with Friends.
I defeated her the first game, and I might defeat her this game. I'm like 1 in 5 lifetime against her.
I'm nervous, actually, for this one. To his right, the lovely Miss Claudia Dolph, who's basically a dancer, a writer, an actress, and the love child of Scarlett O'Hara and Buddha.
Oh, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to be at that evening. That must have been some night at Sandals. Wow.
And last but not least, my favorite radio voice, and also the biggest Star Wars nerd I know, Mr. Ken Napzok.
Hey, everybody! Woo! Yeah, I'm wearing pink.
Yeah, it's a good color on you, Ken.
Thank you.
We are all from LA. Anybody from LA here?
Boo.
No, boo LA.
Hey,
yeah, one guy.
Yeah.
By a round of indifferent size.
Yeah, back there.
Yeah. What?
Yes, it does. We love the Burbank.
That's where they're.
Your Burbank?
Don't believe the stigma you hear about the Valley. It's the best.
It is the best.
Literally the best.
Best place to find parking. Adults live there. It's the best.
Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to talk John Williams. We're going to talk Hans Zimmer. We might fight over the best Disney villain song. We shall see. So I wanted to start with your guys' first memory of being in the movie theater and saying, holy crap, I am super excited. Why? There's this music playing and this scene, and it's making me super freak out and emotional.
Claudia and I are going to answer this together because we were on this panel before, and I stole her answer. It wasn't very...
Every answer.
So I'm obviously known as a big Star Wars nerd, and as of tomorrow, a Star Wars author. My first book comes out called Why We Love Star Wars.
Yeah!
Available on Amazon for pre-order now. So everyone thinks my answer will be Star Wars. My first movie theater music experience that I share with Claudia is Annie. It's a Hard Knock Life.
Yeah.
I was like 6 going, what is this world? They're singing. I want the freedom to just sing when I have porridge or whatever they're doing at the time. I can't remember that.
And they were singing about going to the movies.
Oh, yeah?
Like, it was such an event. Like, let's all go out to the movies.
Let's go to the movies. Let's go see the stars.
Meanwhile, I'm in the car like, we're going to miss the previews. Can you all shut up?
That's my first experience. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Annie.
I'm taking it. It's the same with me. It was my favorite thing. And I grew up in a household of dancers, and it was super relatable. But I wasn't a gymnast, so I was super jealous of It's a Hard Knock Life because they were flipping around and jumping into laundry carts, which seemed really awesome. But yeah.
It is.
Is it? Did you do it?
I did it before I came in. Before I found the junior men's.
That sequence of It's a Hard Knock Life, you can kind of understand, like, all the guys from Jackass were in a theater when they were little kids.
God.
Like, we should try to do flips into shopping carts.
Yeah.
This is a true story. This is famous in Ellis mythology, is that I am on camera when I'm like 4 years old. They got the video camera out, and cute little Mark is running around in his diapers. I was 17 at the time. Now, so I don't know. I was 2. I don't know what kids wear. So I was probably naked, to be honest with you. So I'm buck naked, and I was a big Star Wars fan. And so my mom is on camera. She's like, Mark, do you want to watch Star Wars? Do you want to watch Luke Skywalker? And I was like, no. And my mom is like, do you want to watch Annie? And I'm like, hell yeah. I want to watch Annie. So there's a brief period in my life when I was like a bigger Annie fan than Star Wars. But if you're talking about the first movie experience that moved me as far as like from a musical standpoint, I have 2 answers. One is like a pop song, and one is a score. The pop song was when I was like 5, we went to go see Flight of the Navigator.
Yeah.
And Compliance, and they play the Beach Boys, I Get Around in it, and the spaceship is just cruising, and it's the Beach Boys, and it was just such a cool feeling. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to school and tell all my classmates that I heard about this new band called the Beach Boys. And then the other one is when we first moved to Williamsburg, Virginia, after my dad got out of the Air Force, the first movie we went to go see in 1989 at the AMC in Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News, Virginia, where I had movie theater nachos for the very first time.
Nachos, everybody. Give it
So I'm already on cloud 9, and then all the lights go down, and this movie starts, and you can't really tell what it is. It looks like the camera's just panning around a lot of concrete, and then it zooms out at the end of the credits to show you the Batman logo. It was Danny Elfman's Burton's Batman score.
Which is
and it
playing
just
right
locks
now.
you in
Yep.
to such, that's why I timed it like that. I had to kill some time with the...
No, I timed it like that.
Oh, okay. You just knew from the random concrete that it was Batman. It's such a cool intro to a movie.
No, it was what, 89?
89.
Oh, yeah. I remember sitting there and I mean, I'm like a huge Mexican goth. Like, that's how I grew up. So to see, like, the Batman symbol with Danny Elfman's music, like, freaked me out. That was one of the most amazing moments in a movie theater.
Yeah.
For me. And also, I Get Around, actually. I remember Look Who's Talking. That's the one.
Right. That was in, yeah. Look Who's Talking, underrated soundtrack.
Yeah, it is.
Katrina and the Waves, I believe.
Also, I'll throw this in because I threw this in the last time, but American Tail is a great one. Score and soundtrack.
Which brings me to my next question. If you guys had to pick one soundtrack, which I'm not just various artists, but an actual film score soundtrack from a movie that you could only take one to an island, what would it be? Just one.
Your rules confound me, woman.
Yeah.
So it has to be all by the same artist?
It has to be an actual film score soundtrack from a movie.
Oh, it's a score, not a soundtrack.
Yes, so it can't be Young Guns, too.
Damn it. You knew I was going there.
Okay.
Oh, you were going with that. Do it now?
We've been found out, Ken.
Yeah.
Our time on this panel is done.
Billy, do not get your guns.
Ken and I went down on this panel like a blaze of glory.
Hashtag no pals.
Ooh, that's tough.
I might have to go, was it Trevor Edelman and what Randy Jones combined on the Last of the Mohicans score. That's actually...
Wait, who is that? Is that...
They split it up. There was a weird thing that happened, and each had to do each side of the album, so to speak. As much as I get it, John Williams is the all-time best for good reason. And as far we'll maybe get to a Star Wars one later. I don't want to share that answer, but as far that's the one that moved me the most. And I remember the most and all the music, and I had each track memorized like I used to have a Beatles album memorized, like, track 6 is where they fight. Yeah, like that's one.
Yeah, I mean, we all did that when we had no friends and we were in our room and listening.
Well, that was this morning until you told me how to get to this panel.
Yeah.
That's not true. Then Josh McCougar was still in bed.
That's actually true. Josh is in the hotel room now.
Yeah. What about you, Claudia?
Well, this is a rediscovery, but I recently watched a movie that I'd watched a ton of times as a kid, but Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
As a kid?
Yeah, because it's a musical. My parents were like, it's a musical, it's fine, but as you watch it as an adult, and then it means so much more. But the music is great. It's great. Every single song is amazing. So that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, they're actually, I think they're doing like a re-release in some, is this do you mean like a live theatrical version? Go see it. It's great. It's great. It's really heartbreaking, which I did not remember. But as an old lady at 40, you go, I've lived some life. Oof, I get it, girl.
Man, Claudia, anybody older than 40 now is like, damn.
Including me.
I'd be interested to see a version of the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in Seattle with like everybody in their Seattle garb.
In Seattle,
like,
Seattle style.
Like there's no cowboy hats, there's just a lot of Sonics jerseys.
How many people do we have here are actually like they live in Seattle proper? Okay. Is it truly as polite as I felt this morning when I walked around? 'Cause I haven't been here since
Everyone seems
No?
so nice. Well, we're from Los Angeles.
Yeah, I saw a pedestrian walk in front of a delivery truck, and they honked, and I thought, here it goes. And the truck driver was like, Marty, hey! And they got in, they honked. I was like, Seattle's just Shangri-La of peace.
Ken walking down to the river, it was like Belle and Beauty and the Beast. I am going to go with my favorite. I'm going to try to be like Ken. I'm going to try to hold out on dropping Star Wars as long as I can. Because honestly, I don't know which Star Wars movie soundtrack I would take to that deserted island that you're forcing me to go to.
It's hard.
So I am going to say I was leaning towards Back to the Future, but it's not going to be Back to the Future. It's actually going to be Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That score is so good. Look, the Bryan Adams song is great, okay? But I don't need the Bryan Adams song. I would prefer the instrumental version if I can have it, just in case the 6th grade dance breaks out on this deserted island. But the score to Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is fantastic. Occasionally, they will still bust it out if you're watching golf coverage. Yeah, I said it. I'm that guy. I watch golf on TV, and sometimes you can hear the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves song, and it's worth it.
Wow. Who is the composer?
I can't remember the guy's name.
Okay. If only...
Michael Kidd.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Michael
you.
Pena.
Yes. You win a bottle of water. No, I'm kidding.
That Dorina drank a little bit of.
Yeah. We have junior mints too.
Not for long.
So, because of my goth self, my favorite score of all time is actually Vangelis's Blade Runner. If anyone's a sci-fi fan, that's my personal favorite. Yes, back there, thank you. You look like you live in dystopian future LA. That was a soundtrack I grew up with when I was a teenager, and I was pissed off at the world. My mom would have to come in and knock and tell me, hey, are you okay? Because you're listening to this really sad soundtrack all day. And what is happening? Anyways.
How was the music for Blade Runner 2049 strike you?
It's actually a beautiful soundtrack too. It's just a little, because it's more, I think scores in general with movies have changed. And back in the day, they were more melodic. I mean, that we had all the John Williamses and James Newton Howards and James Horners of the world, you know, playing all these cool themes. But now if you notice, even a bunch of superhero movies, there's only a few superhero movies that have themes. Not a lot out there. Like Thor doesn't really have a theme, right? Like Hulk doesn't really have a theme. We have a Batman theme and a Wonder Woman theme, but there's a lot of themes missing. And so I feel like the new Blade Runner soundtrack was more ambient, like background noise. It's still beautiful.
Didn't it switch composers though? I mean, it was Johann Johansson at first, and then it went to
Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wellfish.
And then they
yeah. So it was good. It's just no Vangelis, because Anyways, so moving on. Speaking of Star Wars, I'm gonna make you guys sad because this is hard. But if you had to pick one theme from Star Wars, what would you pick?
One theme?
Just one.
Like particular character theme?
Yes. It doesn't have to be character, because there's also some cool themes out there that are.
This might be controversial, but Darth Maul's theme just like that set me off.
Duel of Fates?
The Duel of Fates.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think about the movie, whatever, but that theme was just like, that's a badass theme. It's a little bit like Carmina Burana, right? Like it has that like da da.
It's great.
Da. Yeah.
And actually, if you see it live performed by an orchestra with a choir, it's so badass.
Yeah.
And we just so happen to have an orchestra here. Let's bring them out. Oof, Ken, you want to take this one first?
Really? You guys can't just pick one? It's okay.
mean, like,
You're not going to. You can change it later.
I sometimes feel pressured to say the Imperial March. I love Leia's theme, Binary Sunset, all this stuff. I even like Williams giving Han a theme after all this year, but one of my Yoda's theme is, to me, the sound of enlightenment in Star Wars, and it's part of what I love about Star Wars.
It's very magical and mystic.
It's very magical. It's very calming and soothing, and it's one of Williams' underrated themes compared to some of the big themes. So I'll go Yoda.
Okay. Now it's
Mark,
all on me.
It's all you.
It's like asking me what's my favorite Starbucks in Seattle. So many to choose from. I think I'm gonna go with the throne / the end title scene from the first Star Wars, because you kind of get two songs in one. You kind of get like the you know, that triumphant feeling, like you just won a championship or just got an A on a test or just put your pants on right. You know, you just get that like, oh God, I'm soaring. I feel so good about life. And then you get the closing credits too, because it just goes right into it. And still, that's like, it's weird to say like the end of Star Wars is one of my favorite parts of the movie Star Wars, but those. It doesn't matter what you thought of the movie, those end credits will send you out on a high note. You know, you're like, you know what? I kind of like this Broom Kid because I heard the music right after, and it sounded pretty good.
Yeah, it's like, it almost makes you feel okay that Chewie didn't get a medal.
He really deserved a medal.
He eventually did.
Doesn't count, McKen.
It's canon.
It doesn't count.
Can we talk about a song from the holiday special? Does that count?
The Life Day, yeah.
Yes.
I was blessed to have Carrie
Arthur
sing that with to me on a panel. I might have.
Stop.
Still remember the lyrics 2 months.
Well, there's not many
lyrics. But yeah.
That's a good memory.
Or I could just nick the lounge singer. Star Wars.
I mean, Bill Murray, man.
Yeah.
So my favorite is, you guys were all wrong because the correct answer is the asteroid field. No. But anyways.
Good.
But good try. Yeah.
It's a good one. Binary Sunset's a close second.
So if you guys had to pick any score theme for you to walk into a room and that have be the theme that follows you everywhere, what would it be? It's like basically your entrance song.
I mean, in real life, it'd be the Ewoks theme.
Yub nub?
I'd just be yub-nubbing all over this joint. But I think I'll go with the one that, again, this is me having a bit of a high opinion of myself, apparently, but on the treadmill this morning, I listened to, I don't know, 7, 8 rock songs, and then there's only one movie score theme that made it into the playlist. Can anybody guess what that theme might have been? Not Rocky, not Flash Gordon. All good guesses. The Superman titles from 1978.
Are you serious? Because that's literally what I was going to play. No, E.T.'s playing right now.
E.T. is an alien that should be studied because he's not a botanist. I'll tell you that. Capture him and find out what his people are here for.
Anybody who wants to take it? Claudia can?
No.
I'm trying to think of an entrance theme that's movie related, because I might take like the Game of Thrones theme or something, which is so theatrical. Just
my friends actually walked down the aisle when they got married to that theme.
Aww.
I mean, that's brave to Game of Thrones theme your wedding.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and everybody make it out okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just constantly, your head's
They're
on a
divorced
swivel.
now, but you know. No, I'm kidding.
So I'm trying to think movie-wise. It might be James Horner's work when the Titanic goes out of port for the first time. I'll just choose that.
I knew it'd be something cheesy.
No, you know what? I'll tell you. I think the end. It's in the end credits of Glory. James Horner's work there. The late great James Horner. I'm not a great singer, but it's like this boom, 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 and it's like it's just really inspiring.
Yeah,
I don't inspire a lot of things when I walk in a room, so I need that help.
Stop it. I'm gonna
It's a
dolly.
buffet.
Hello, Golden Corral. I've missed you.
Aw.
Then the Rocky song starts.
I'm just on a dolly kick, so I'm gonna say 9 to 5.
Okay.
That's a good one.
It just makes me happy, and it makes me, even though the lyrics aren't the happiest, but the melody is very like, I'm gonna kick ass today. Let's do this.
I'll pair that with Bangles' Manic Monday. You got a great start to your week.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a Prince song.
I know that.
But just saying.
But the Bengals are most not. Okay, nerds.
Bengals are awesome, though. I saw them live. They're great. Mine would probably be Bram Stoker's Dracula theme. Anyways.
That's goth for you.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, I think movie music has changed dramatically, whether it's due to technology, whether it's using, more computer synthesizers than actual orchestral instruments and things like that. Like, do you guys think that this shift is going to continue? Do you guys think the melodies and themes are going to come back? From the recent experiences you guys have had in movies, like, what do you think is missing, or what are you yearning for or what do you think is the future of movie music that's going to happen?
I mean, I'd like to see them bring back the melodic, like the bombastic stuff, because you just don't hear that. Like, you're right. When a superhero comes on screen, you want that to be so recognizable that it's their music. To the point where, like, in Justice League, they brought back old scores. Justice League is like, well, we can't come up with any new stuff, so let's just bring back the John Williams Superman theme, and let's bring back Danny Elfman's Batman theme. They didn't use it enough as they should have, but that's what they did. So I'd like to see the trend move in that direction, but I yearn for the days when the score could literally overpower you and announce that a character's come on screen.
Yes.
I think it's coming back a little bit. Like you said, like there was a time, that I just didn't notice a soundtrack anymore. But I think there are certain people. I think Quentin Tarantino is really great about putting a really amazing soundtrack into every single thing that he does. I think Gravity was the first one that kind of got me back. I was like, oh, this is a great soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really cool. And he always sort of puts in an amazing soundtrack for whatever he does. So I think that it's coming back for sure. I just wish it was a little bit more like, I think it sort of stopped in the 90s maybe, of like these epic soundtracks that were really powerful. Legends of the Fall, right?
Yeah.
Look, everything, it can be cyclical. I mean, you look at, again, what Williams started to do in the 70s and George's decision and all the people producing Star Wars to say, hey, we're not going with a modern-sounding trailer. We're going to a score for our movie. We're going to go with something that's timeless. And that brought about, I think, a lot of what we're talking about, especially through the 80s and 90s. So I think it can always come back. Atmospheric stuff is Stranger Things. Everything is. Can we get it to sound like Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Can we get it to? That's great, but that'll run scores too. Nothing
Like
is bad.
Suspiria had a great soundtrack this year, which we talked about in our private lives. And Annihilation. There are certain movies that I think that are, that aren't getting recognized. Like, well, I'm not going to get into the Oscars. I just had a conversation in my brain, and I was like, nah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think if you go see more indie movies, right, like not the big blockbusters, you end up seeing these people actually have the music help the characters in the story, right? And it's not just this background music that you have during all these action sequences, where I think directors nowadays tend to be distracted by these themes, and they just want it to be as background music, but I really miss all of these themes we're listening to right now. Like I think that's something that can make a movie better. Like E.T. is not the same movie without John Williams' score. Like that score is something that it's going to resonate with us forever. Like everyone knows that score, and there's so many scenes where there's no dialogue happening, and you're still emotional and you're still crying because of his beautiful score, right? So I hope that comes back. I wanted to move on now to maybe like get into it a little bit with Disney music, because people tend to have favorites and fight about that, and that's fun. Because Disney music is awesome. The great Alan Menken. We had so many people. Howard Ashman. So, what is the best Disney villain song?
Oh.
Did somebody say Scar's theme?
Scar's theme.
That's a good one.
Is that
it's
Be
not
Prepared,
the best,
or is
but it's a
that?
good one. Yes, Be Prepared.
Ursula is mine.
You like Poor Unfortunate Souls by Alan Menken? That's a good
Love
one.
it. I used to teach dance to little children and would use that song. They didn't like it, but I loved it.
I'm trying to think of something from like the original Herbie movies, Herbie the Love Bug in the 60s. Was there anything there?
Can you just age yourself?
Well, I'm not. I wasn't alive in the 60s, but yeah. I'll say Scar's theme as I'll steal the answer.
Yeah, you'll steal our audience member
for 5 points.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Mark, you look like you're thinking really hard.
I am thinking really hard, because I'm thinking like, well, technically Disney owns Star Wars now, so like, does the Imperial theme count?
No.
Then I would. I'm just trying to think of like who the most menacing villains in Disney are, and Scar is certainly up there. I'm a big fan of Jafar and everything he does. Who's that?
Who said that? Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a great movie. Yeah.
Hocus Pocus is yeah. That's a pretty solid Halloween flick.
Great movie. So you can't think of any?
I would go like
Scar?
technically he's not a villain. He's just like an orangutan that's kind of douchey. But King Louie is whatever King Louie's song is. He's not a bad guy.
I want to be like you.
I want to be like I want to be like you. I get it. You're a man cub in the jungle, okay? I'm supposed to be here. So you may not like it, but this is my song, and maybe you classify me as a villain, but that's man speak, and I'm a monkey, so I don't care. I have a lot of thoughts about King Louie.
Wow. So you guys, those were good suggestions, but you guys forgot about two of the biggest douchebags in Disney history, which is Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
Ooh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
And Michael Eisner.
Yeah. What's his song?
That's a good one, Ken.
His song was The Sound of Money. Iger took it over.
I always liked Michael Eisner because when I was a kid, he introed the Sunday night movie of the week. And actually, that's a good Disney villain is Mr. Boogedy. I don't know if Mr. Boogedy came with a theme song, but if he did, that's my new favorite.
Okay, fair enough. That was not what I was going to say, but it was a good answer.
Okay.
The other one is from a very underrated movie, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Frollo.
Oh.
You struck a chord, Dorina.
Yes, because these people know.
No,
Yes, because he's like one of the worst people in Disney history, and he's got a super messed up villain song, Hellfire.
I don't ever think I saw that.
Yeah, I think these guys know more than you guys. Maybe they should come
For
up
sure.
to the panel.
Well, Disney.
Yeah.
I thought this was the candy panel. Ill prepared.
So, Mark, no? You're still not going to come up with
No, I went King.
Fine. But you had to do a different one.
But, is
Fine, I already answered.
The Emperor's New Groove? who's the bad guy in that?
Yzma.
Yzma? Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the bad guy in, okay, what about, Hercules?
Hades, yeah.
'cause James
Does Hades
Wood-
have a song? He doesn't, right?
Does it have a theme?
He didn't have a whole, he just had a little theme that they still play every time James Woods tweets something.
That's funny.
Oh.
You're funny.
We got political, Ken. That's my opening joke tonight. Columbia City Theater, 9 p.m.
We have flyers. Please grab them at the end. Ooh, that is a good one from Princess and the Frog. Yeah, that's actually that's an underrated villain song. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's a good one. So many good ones. Sorry?
Yeah?
Mine? Oh, what is that from? Yeah,
Oh my
what's his name?
God, I totally forgot about that.
Radcliffe? I was like, Radigan? That's Great Mouse Detective. Anyways, which is also a good villain song. Okay, so I want to move on to my favorite genre, other than sci-fi, which is horror movies. So if you are by yourself in a room in the dark and you listen to this song, like what song is going to freak you out and make you want to leave? What horror movie theme? Because for me, it's The Exorcist.
The Tubular Bells?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be a pretty song, but it's
She does not like it. Yeah.
I think it's a Catholic thing. It freaked me out.
Because they don't. There isn't a horror theme song that would freak me out.
Really?
No.
If you're by yourself in a dark room, what do they start playing? John Carpenter's Halloween theme.
I love it.
Really? You would just start dancing.
Yeah. I would like look out the window and be like, yeah, he's there. There he is. Yep.
There's Michael. Hi.
There he is.
I have never heard a horror theme because I get scared so easily that I'm usually watching the movies with my hood over and I don't hear.
I mean, there's horror themes I love. Like I love The Shining. I mean, like I could listen to them. They don't scare me. Like I enjoy them.
Wow. Okay. Then you're pretty goth. Good job, Claudia.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Tubular Bells.
I just said The
Tubular-
Exorcist.
oh, is that the answer?
Like it,
Yeah. Yeah, it freaks me out.
Can't be the only one.
No, I mean, there's a lot of good ones, but that's the freakiest one.
It's more like it's like children. Like if I hear "Children in the Walls" or something, like those things.
A song or just a literal?
No, just like if you hear like
You might have to
children-
move out of your apartment.
but not like a whole soundtrack. Yeah.
Yeah, my lock's broken, and also there's kids in the walls, I think.
Your hands keep coming out.
Yeah, I don't like that.
One of them's walking backwards with a broken neck.
Now we're just talking about things we don't like. Like, I hate when my walls bleed. That really upsets me. If I'm trying to go to sleep, like the last thing I want to hear right before I drift off into dreamland is just like on the piano, the Nightmare on Elm Street, the opening of the 1-2, Freddy's Coming for You, that kind of thing. It's not a good way to go off to meet the Sandman.
Yeah, that's a freaky one. You'd
See?
still be fine?
Yeah.
Damn, Claudia.
No, but there's little kids singing in that.
That's fine.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Oh no. That's really scary.
Here's why they made so many Nightmare on Elm Street movies is because it's all good advice except for one. It's 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, lock the door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. Freddy Krueger's not afraid of a crucifix.
No, he's not.
You can hold a cross up to him.
He's
He's
not
like,
a
I have
vampire.
paws. I'm not the.
He's not a vampire.
It's like throwing garlic at him. It doesn't work. Just giving you guys tips when you go to sleep.
Okay, so I want to move on to actual songs, like pop songs from movies, because there's been so many good musical moments in movies. And see, this is where Mark's like, I got this, because he's...
This is my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
This was a good wheel spin.
Yeah, so what's one of your favorite, whether you were a kid or recently, like, what's one of your favorite moments on screen that were like, this song is, I'm going to forever remember this song because of this movie?
Judgment Night. Onyx. They played Slam when Emilio Estevez and Dennis Leary going at it. Nobody remembers this soundtrack. Cypress Hill teaming up with Pearl Jam and Sonic Youth. It was a great. If you have not heard the Judgment Night soundtrack, it's a perfect mix of 90s rap meets 90s rock. It's great.
Wow. Wow.
It's so good. The movie's not great.
No, but there's a lot of movies that are bad with great soundtracks.
Tank Girl. Not a great movie. Great soundtrack.
Batman Forever,
Yeah.
Batman and Robin. Yeah.
Pop music, like I love, I'm a Wes Anderson sucker for his soundtrack, especially Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums.
Nice.
Those really stayed with me. Going back to my childhood, like to the Anything, I legitimately thought Grease with Travolta and Olivia Newton-John was how high school was. So I was like ready to, you better shape up. Like no one in my history class first period was singing. I was like, I've made a huge mistake. But like that, my mom loved that, and it was always had like a VHS copy playing. That and Yentl, Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you? Like, so
Did you sing that in your room as a kid?
it was the way Babs, man. I grew up liking Babs because my mom did. But yeah, the Grease, like Frankie Valli, Grease. I mean, it's odd, but it stuck with me. And high school did not turn out the way I thought it would.
I love a ballad. I'll Bring the House Down on karaoke. Buzzkill. But the most recent pop song, I think, Ashes from Deadpool 2. I mean, it's a freaking genius song. And then, of course, you have like a dancing Deadpool. That music video.
And heels. It's so cool.
Yanis Marshall, who's a French dancer. He's amazing. That was him. It checks all my boxes. I love it. Yeah.
No, that's a good one. It should have been nominated.
Should have been nominated for an Oscar, for just saying.
So I love Tarantino's music choices. Like in this particularly for Kill Bill, it's one of the coolest scenes in a movie ever. Like I actually play this song when I'm working out.
This is how I want to walk into rooms. Why did I think of that?
I don't know, Ken.
Like Lucy Liu.
Yeah. Or what's the girl's name that has the chain, the ball chain, like that?
Yeah.
With the schoolgirl uniform?
He's just so good. He knows how to take a song. I'm going like Inglourious Bastards, when that Bowie song comes out, putting out fire with gasoline, and it's burnt. I mean, it's a World War II movie. I mean, Reservoir Dogs, all that stuff. I mean, he's so good at using pop culture kind of against itself at times, or playing off of things, and I love that.
Yeah.
He's great at that.
He's very good at that.
I think he could have his best one yet with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when it comes out next year. This year? This year. Yeah, it comes out in August, so it's going to be a lot of good cuts in there.
And that cast is crazy. So I want to get a little saucy now.
Saucy?
So, since in case there's underage people here.
You see, when a man and a woman love each other very much.
Do you guys have a score or soundtrack that you enjoy making out to?
I hope to
you
one
can
day.
do other stuff, but I don't know. We can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ken and I, we want to be very clear. We'll take anything.
Yeah.
We're not picky.
Yeah. I once made out while Love Actually was playing in the background, so I'm good with a lot of things.
The Don Juan DeMarco one was good for me.
Brian Adams, When a Man Loves a Woman? Or
Have you ever really loved a woman?
Yeah, if you ever, that's one.
If you really love a woman.
A lot of Brian Adams coming out of this panel today. That's great.
Yeah,
Summer
put that on
69.
a loop.
Best rock voices of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're practically in Canada here. Vancouver's right.
Exactly, yeah.
I believe his recording studio was in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Or still is in Vancouver. I don't know. I am going to go with the theme and also the Righteous Brothers Unchained Melody from Ghost.
Really?
Because if I'm making out, I'm making clay first. I'm gonna do some sit-ups.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great, and then we're gonna make out like one of us is dead. It's gonna be we're just role playing to the nines.
Wow.
This is my friend Dorina. She's gonna be making out with you for me. It's like a proxy thing.
It's like a Blade Runner 2049 weird.
But yeah, I'm like Mark. Once the action starts, I hear no sound. It's just a vacuum of this might be the last chance I get.
Just trying to focus.
Yeah.
I just hear a lot of white noise. Once the lips touch, it's just like.
Oh, see, are you guys glad you came? Okay, so
We just made every makeout session better.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Mine is actually a little bit embarrassing, but the Battlestar Galactica soundtrack is a good one by Bear McCreary. If you guys are
The theme?
all of
The
them, the whole
mantra?
soundtrack, all of the
Thought it was just
because it's different. Because sometimes you get a little like action theme, sometimes you get some romantic theme, so you can
I
change
thought
it
you
up.
meant like Dirk Benedict and Lord Green singing spoken word poems from '78.
Oh, I'm into that. That's fine.
No, Ken.
That's fine.
It clearly meant the revamp Battlestar Galactica.
I mean, I love that. I mean,
By the great Bear
we love
McCreary.
Sackhoff. It's great, yeah. But
Dirk Benedict.
Dirk Benedict, Lord Green. Remember when Lord Green was on Emergency? No, I'll go. I'll be out front. I'll see it. Okay.
You know what? I don't judge whatever turns you on.
Lauren Green.
Bonanza? Bonanza?
Okay, so let's move on to superheroes. What do you guys think is the best superhero theme we've ever had so far?
I mean, I'm going to tag on to what Mark said earlier. The Superman 1978 theme song is the best.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
Yeah.
It is. It is timeless. You're right.
It really does. It's one. Yeah, and I don't mean this as like a shot at the MCU or anything. I just think one of the things that you talked about, I don't, other than the Avengers theme, nothing stands out to me as somewhat of a casual viewer of MCU, where, you know, Star Wars fans or Indiana Jones fans, even if you're casual, you're going to know the music to it, and that's not a shot across the board. I still think Superman, Batman, that kind of stuff's the best, you know.
The Danny Elfman's Batman, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Batman 66.
Oh.
It's a good one.
Well, because there's also James Newton Howard and Hans Zimmer's Dark Knight trilogy. That has good music too.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Dare you? It is great, especially live. You guys should go see it. Okay.
I mean, what other ones are we missing besides like the Batman and Superman? What are some other ones that?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman's got
Woman's
a
a great
cool
one.
one.
Yeah.
It's pretty, and it doesn't have to be specifically superheroes. I mean, there's Indiana Jones has a pretty cool theme.
Oh, if it's not, well, yeah.
It says,
but
like,
that is
heroes in
superhero.
general. What?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a cape.
Yeah. He's got a fancy hat. He's got a whip.
There you go.
I was gonna say, from a certain point of view, any like college football player who never gets to see action is kind of looking up to Rudy like he's a superhero, and that music is damn good.
It is a good.
Did you see that they're going to do it live?
I
in
did.
LA?
They're actually doing it, and I'm on the road, so I can't go. But like
Yeah.
Sean Astin and the real Rudy is gonna be
Tears.
there.
Tears.
Oh yeah. That is a good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first one, yeah.
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 You know.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
what
wait,
might
did
be
you
on.
already say heroes? No.
What do you guys think about
Oh, there's somebody
superhero
that's
sort
stood
of?
up and asked a question. Sorry, please
What do you guys
continue,
think
sir.
about superhero scoring in the ways of like Spider-Verse and The Matrix, where it's less like an overarching film score
Right.
that sort of goes through in the John Williams sort of way, but is still pretty powerful, sort of leitmotify way of doing things. I think that's more the modern take on things, but those also could be superhero themes if you think, you know, Neo, Miles,
Right.
all those people as superheroes as
And
well.
did I hear you mention Spider-Verse also?
Yeah, Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
The way that Spider-Verse was scored was very, everybody has their own theme and they all interact with each other,
Right.
whether they're heroes or villains. I heard a lot of people say they get completely creeped out whenever they hear the Prowler noise in the soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, Spider-Verse was done by Daniel Pemberton, who's been around for a little bit, and because I actually wanted to ask about newer composers, and I thought he did a great job because he figured out how to, you know, do a modern take on film scores, right? Like the way that I guess modern directors like this music as more background, but that scene, I hope you guys all saw Spider-Verse. If you haven't, please go see it. It's amazing. But that scene where Miles, you know, takes the leap of faith and jumps, and it's this beautiful backdrop, you know, like he's kind of going upside down, and the music is so cool. Like that's a really cool theme, and it had a little bit of like synthesizers and hip hop combined. Like it was I thought it was great.
I still think like the Spider-Verse and Matrix, although like you're saying maybe it's a little more like what your composers like, it's still, I feel, a little more thoughtful than some things that we've heard in the past few years. Like, you know, it still means something. It's still adding something to the story. I mean, I had the Matrix soundtrack when it came out, just to, yeah.
One, yeah. Well, and also even with recent superhero movies like Aquaman and Captain Marvel, there's some generic music in there. It's like it's very backgroundy, but there's actually a couple of times where they brought in like a little bit more synthesizer, like cool, like kind of more like Tron Legacy type music by Daft Punk, and I was like, give me more of that, right? Like that's more
Apart from like
interesting.
Captain Marvel, there was like a really heavy drum beat at one point where I was like, oh, this is badass. I love this part.
Yeah, I want more of that. So hopefully, they just have to consult us.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
If you're listening.
Yeah. Hire us film score nerds. Okay, so do you guys have any other questions? Because we're
Yeah, we can start taking questions.
Did we open the floor to questions? I was going to say, that was like the best unsolicited mic comment.
Thank you for that.
Come up to the mic if you have any more
really
comments,
good.
for sure.
Yeah, we'll
I'm happy. Yeah, do it, do it. You dropped your phone. You dropped your phone, dude.
All right.
Pick it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No.
Oh, it's like you just lost your pet.
But
Gotta get to the
somebody
mic.
might
Pick it
text
up,
you,
I'll
though.
pick it up. I was just wondering what you guys thought about the more recent trend in percussion in scores, like Black Panther that won the Oscar.
Yeah.
And Isle of Dogs, and even Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse had a lot of drum beats as like the focus of the score. I was just wondering what your guys' thoughts on like the percussion-based scores and stuff like that.
Somebody else want to take this?
I mean, just in general, I love that kind of stuff. I think when it breaks it up, even going to Star Wars, one of my favorite pieces of Williams music is the opening of Revenge of the Sith, because it had a lot of percussion or something different sound. So I love playing around with that kind of stuff. What's the Black Panther? Ludwig
Göransson? Yeah.
who is a great guy and produced Hames Records. I mean, this guy knows music, so I'm really curious to see.
Childish Gambino's records, too.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what he can do with something like Star Wars Mandalorian 2, bringing something in new but familiar to the world. But
Is he the Mandalorian composer
He is,
officially?
yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I'm totally into drums being in soundtracks more. I mean, I don't play any instruments, but if I did, I'd be a drummer. Like, that's the closest thing to being able to play an instrument. So I'm all for it. You know what's got a lot of good drums? Judgment Night, the soundtrack. Combination of rock and rap.
You know what's got some good percussion in it? It's hard to find. Alan Silvestri's Young Guns 2 score.
Boy, does it. Does it ever.
You guys are allowed to talk about it. I was just giving you crap. They really like Young Guns too, you guys.
We really love
Great movie, great soundtrack, great trailer, great lines. You Who I'll Make You Famous. How cool is that?
The only two movies I've ever watched.
Do you have a question?
I do.
Hi.
So I plan to go into the film industry, build a production company, make movie musicals for a living.
Yay!
That's what I've been planning to do since I was
I want to
shorter than I already am.
I'll do it.
What would you like to see in upcoming movie musicals, or would like to take away from movie musicals in the past and just not have it in?
Please don't do La La Land ever again.
I disagree.
Just don't do a half-assed musical ever again.
So don't let Gosling sing, is that what you're saying?
That's different.
There are people that can actually sing and dance in this industry, and just hire those people, because that would be great.
I mean, for
Yeah, like Pierce Brosnan. You know, people that can really belt it
I don't
out.
want another Mamma Mia.
Russell Crowe.
that was or Russell Crowe. And,
Well, first of all,
Great.
pursue your dreams.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
conquer the city. Don't let anyone tell you no.
Do it
Including
now.
myself.
Make them now.
And bring your own vision to it. Make us go, that's what we wanted.
What do you want to see?
Yeah,
What do you
wanna-
want to do?
What's your favorite movie musical?
West Side Story is mine.
My favorite
Little
movie
Shop of
musical-
Horrors is mine.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. More singing plants.
I could do that.
That's a good place to
What's
start.
something that what strikes a chord with you?
Classic film musicals are what I love. Fred Astaire. I plan to be the next Fred Astaire. I'm a horrible tap dancer, but I know
No,
what
you can
tap
do it.
dancing is about, which is about bringing tap dancing to an extra level, bringing that theme, which is what we saw so much of in the classic film Golden Age.
Yes.
And so I want to bring that back. And also deep themes within music. And instead of just having regular old pop songs coming up
Singing in the Rain is like is a perfect movie musical. It's perfect because it has everything that you're talking about. It has the amazing singing, dancing, but there's something deeper there, and there's something that's really heartwarming, and you learn something on a human level as well. Do it, and then put me in it
Okay.
before I'm too old.
I'll never be too old.
Thank you.
Thank you. But seriously, though,
Good luck.
I really, yes, you should. You can do it. You can
Make
totally
it
do
now.
it. And please hire Broadway singers and not just actors that can't sing. So- like, I love you, Meryl Streep, but you can't sing.
No.
Okay. You have a question?
Yeah, so I was wondering, do you guys have any favorite video game scores, if that's in
Yes.
your house at all?
I mean, the opening of Mortal Kombat.
It's
got
so
me.
good.
Oh, God,
Mortal Welcome back.
I didn't even finish.
to that.
Yeah, I didn't even finish the movie. I got up and went to the arcade and just started putting quarters in. God.
You made the good choice.
Does anybody know? It's very similar. Like almost we should sell this in a courtroom between the Mortal Kombat score and Get Ready for This, the 2 Unlimited song. So and they're both great. They're both great, like kick off your workout kind of songs. But if I have to pick one or the other, I'll take, because they yell Mortal Kombat at the beginning of Mortal Kombat. That's pretty great. Other than that, video game scores are tough to come by.
GoldenEye. GoldenEye is a great.
Halo's got a great one, yeah.
Harry Gregson Williams.
I mean, everything from Koji Kondo's Zelda, like all the Zelda music is. I mean, I have my ringtone from Zelda, my alarm. This is a great fairy fountain, like all that stuff. Yeah.
Halo's great because it just sounds like there's like a very old barbershop quartet floating in outer space singing it. But that's cinematic quality. Like I can see a Halo movie if they ever finally get it made to be kicked off with like that, or like the first trailer you see for Halo. I feel like I'm playing to you three more than anybody. Yeah, sing it. You three of us, sing it. But it would sound so cool. It doesn't sound as good in a panel room as it does in the Great Beyond.
What is one of your choices?
The Metal Gear Solid soundtrack by Harry Gregson Williams. Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Okay, great.
Starring Oscar Isaac.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I like MLB The Show 18.
Contra had pretty good music. The
Hello,
first
Lady
Contra.
Thor. You look awesome.
Thank you.
This is like we saw in the trailer today. It's like Thor and Captain Marvel had a kid. They were making eyes at each other. We can all agree that, right?
He said he liked her. So there
It's such a power play to summon your hammer from right behind a young lady's head.
I'm a music therapist, and I practice music therapy. And I talk to people a lot about their connection to music and how that develops over time. And I'm curious if there are soundtracks, since we're specifically talking about that have connected with you, that you feel like tell your life story on a real physical level.
I mean, actually, what's playing right now, the Twin Peaks theme, I love. It's the composer's Angelo Badalamenti. Like, I actually saw Twin Peaks in the 80s when it came out. Like, I saw it as a child, and it was a scary show. But because I'm weird, I couldn't stop watching it. And the music is so ethereal and calming and kind of trippy and out there, you know? So that's why, no matter what was going on the screen, the music was very soothing somehow. So I love Twin Peaks. The entire soundtrack is great. What about you guys?
All right, so if like Danger Zone would be the song like when I get to high school, and then when I graduate high school, it's like Mighty Wings, and then when you have your first kiss, it's like Take My Breath Away, and then when you have like a soaring achievement in life, you play the Top Gun anthem. See where I'm going with this? You're just hanging out with the guys, you're playing with the boys, volleyball. There's a song for everyone on the Top Gun soundtrack.
That's a good point. There is. You're right.
Yes, there is.
You're not wrong.
Doesn't matter if you're a goth girl or you're a jock inside a nerd's body.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we had the thing that we listened to all the time was this compilation of John Williams themes. So it had everything on it. It had Superman, and it had Indiana Jones, it had Jaws, it had Star Wars. Like, it had all the major themes. It had Lois's theme. Lois's theme is one of my favorite things. And so anytime, like, if we had albums when I was a child, I know. But hearing any of those, it is just like, it brings me back to a time where I'm like thinking about my family. It's very calming, like you said.
It's like calming nostalgia.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, before you answer, Ken, James Horner soundtracks when I was a kid. Everything from An American Tail, like all the Don Bluth movies, which are super sad, but the soundtracks are gorgeous. An American Tail, Land Before Time. Casper is not a Don Bluth movie, but it's a gorgeous soundtrack. Like anything James Horner, really.
First of all, what a wonderful career choice. I feel humbled when I hear someone like, I do music therapy, which helps people. My job's to go, no, Chewbacca did have a medal given to him finally in a comic book. So I think some of my answers, the two answers I've already given to your question, like soundtrack-wise, I do go to Rushmore because Wes Anderson picked a story that the movie and the songs connected. So by the time Ooh La La comes on at the end credits, it's something that I feel the scars of things I've gone through, and I feel inspired even in that pain. Then I go to Last Mohicans because the story that's told both in the movie, but then you connect to some of the bigger themes, and not just because I'm a big Madeline Stowe fan. We can talk about Unlawful.
Ken loves Madeline.
I love Madeline Stowe, but I went through it. Even Steve Waddington's character is the British officer who sacrifices his life, and the music connects with me, and I go through those memories. And then you apply it to your silly little life when I'm in high school in 1993, and it seems silly, but every time I'd hear it, I'd go through all the emotions, and that includes feeling better about situations. So that's my answer.
Yeah, if you're talking about a good soundtrack that like it puts you back to a point in your life when you were figuring all the things out, I would probably actually it's a nice local reference to the soundtrack from Singles.
Cameron
It's a
Crowe,
really
yeah.
good soundtrack.
It's just a lot of grunge, like early '90s.
Yeah, Seattle. Hey,
Came out the year before Judgment Night, if you're keeping score.
thank you.
Thank you.
So, somebody had previously asked about, video game music or whatever like that, and there is actually a lot of really good games. Like, for example, Sonic. Their games are questionable of the quality of the gameplay, but you have to admit that Sonic 06 had a amazing soundtrack.
Guitar Hero's got good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever go into like a Rite Aid and you hear like a song and you're like, oh, that's my jam, and it's like I don't play the guitar, it's just what I played on Guitar Hero.
No, every
And
time I
it's
go into
not
Rite Aid, I hear white noise because I'm going for the junior mints. I'm just like, I kind of hit there.
I don't air guitar in my personal life because I'm not talented enough to do it. So when I drive, I play bass and I sing background vocals.
But I was going to ask, so there is a composer called Yoko Shimomura. Have you possibly heard of them?
Yeah.
They've done a lot of really good soundtracks, and they've also done games that I never even understood that they did that. You guys know the Mario and Luigi games, yeah?
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story had a soundtrack by Yoko Shimomura, and I didn't know that until I
Nice.
looked down in the finals, description. You remember that song?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Mark
Yeah,
is better
there's
at the
so
games
much
than
good
me.
video game music out there. I actually got to go to the Zelda concert, and Koji Kondo, the composer, was there, and he played Grandma's theme from Wind Waker, and I cried, and I felt super embarrassed. So, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just a little upset when he said, good video game soundtracks are hard to come by. Like, I had that look of, I'm sorry, what did you just say? Like, plastered across my face.
Hey, I didn't say it. Blame the messenger.
But, yeah, no, because, again, there's good games that have a focus on that, because a good soundtrack, no matter whether it's a show, a movie, or a game, or whatever like that, can amplify the emotion of anything in it
For sure.
by a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm forgetting the name of
Meanwhile, when I'm late for something, I always think about the sped up Mario music from '85. When you have like 90 seconds to finish, and I'm like, oh god, the music's going fast. I got to make this jump now. It's now or never.
another one of those tension scenes, the drowning scene from the classic Sonics. Oh my god, if you heard that song and you didn't have every hair on your back standing up, there was something wrong with you as a kid.
Yeah.
How did you know I have hair on my back?
Well, whatever is in place of their standing up, sure.
Cool. Thank you so much. I think we have time for the last four.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Nice hat.
Thank you. Has there been one song that, I don't know if we kind of answered it earlier, but as you were younger, it just impacted you for like the rest of your life and it became one of your favorite songs? Like, mine is from a horrible movie. It was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it was Dreams at the end by Van Halen.
Yes.
And so luckily, my dad brought me up with hard rock back then, so Van Halen has been my favorite band.
The greatest thing ever.
Exactly. Yeah.
You came to the right panel.
Oh yeah. We bonded over that before.
Mission to Mars when they played Dance the Night Away. Fantastic.
Yeah. So has there been kind of that one song, if you can remember back then, that just kind of implemented and stayed with you forever?
I mean, I wasn't as young, but I brought up the Batman and Robin soundtrack earlier. So there's that Smashing Pumpkins song in it, the end is the beginning, it's the end, or whatever. And they used it for the really cool Watchmen trailer. Yeah. And it was like a slow remix version. And I think Zack Snyder trailers are better than most movies. Just like whatever you think of as movies, like that trailer with that song was incredible.
Yeah, Sucker Punch had some good moments like that too.
Yeah.
They have that Zeppelin when the levee breaks. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
As far as like something that man, Last Action Hero, Def Leppard, Two Steps Behind. It's a good sensitive ballad.
I'm trying to think, because I'm such a music fan outside of movies, so my answers would tend to go towards like what, Simon and Garfunkel, I'm a rock, I'm an island, singing that stuff in 7th grade and connecting to depression I didn't know I had yet. All that kind of stuff's powerful. So as far as movies, I'm trying to really think during my formative years. Yeah, I don't. It seems silly, but like Harry Connick Jr. on the when Harry met
With Harry Met Sally, it's a great soundtrack.
I mean, just it had to be you. Him singing that version. That really stuck with me for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good question though.
Everybody hurts from when a man loves a woman.
I almost.
Way to be depressing,
Oh.
could honestly answer. Rock said it must have been love. I mean, come on.
Ooh.
Sit in the car waiting for that song to come on. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi. I was just wondering what some of your favorite TV themes would be.
I sang
Twin Peaks.
The Daredevil theme song is so cool.
Daredevil's amazing. Twin Peaks
X-Files?
is my favorite. Oh, X-Files.
I mean, look, I'm an incredible Game of Thrones nut. Ramin Djawadi, after seeing him in concert, the dude's a rock star.
Yeah.
But going back to my youth, I mean, I kind of missed the actual, like, the Gilligan's Island themes. My favorite show growing up in syndication and that kind of stuff. I'd go with that one.
This is a little life hack I'm going to give everybody in here. You're welcome. It doesn't cost you anything. It's if you're at a karaoke party and it's things are getting a little slow. See if they can play the Saved by the Bell theme song.
Oh my gosh.
Because if they can, that karaoke party is going back to 10 and beyond. You don't even need to know the words. People are going to be singing it for you.
What's yours?
Some of mine would be obviously Game of Thrones. Doctor Who's another one.
Oh, Doctor Who. Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of Ramin Djawadi, this is really nerdy, but if you guys like the original Fright Night, the remake is actually pretty cool too.
Fantastic.
And Ramin Djawadi did the score, and it's one of the best modern horror soundtracks, so check that out. Thank you.
Thank you.
David Tennant's so good.
So last question.
So good.
So if you had to take your least favorite chore, the most mundane activity that you hate doing, like going to the DMV, doing laundry, etc., and then
Vacuuming.
elevate it to an acceptable level with a song or a soundtrack, which would that be for you?
Daft Punk's Tron Legacy soundtrack.
Say that.
Always puts me in a great mood.
I'm tagging on the same thing because it's like still, it amps you up.
Yeah, Daft Punk needs to make more soundtracks.
Yeah.
Now that I live on my own again, I don't really do chores. I just kind of let everything pile up until once a year I have to play whatever song they play in Revenge of the Nerds so that I can clean everything in 2 minutes. So that's whatever's a good cleaning montage song, that's what I'll do.
I find that's when I do go to Star Wars. I just start kind of humming like dun, 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 and that just kind of gets me through the day. Or the Ewoks theme during set.
Yep, no.
It's a choice.
So before we leave, we just want to quickly say where we can find everyone on the internet. So Ken, where can people find you?
You can follow me at Cat Napzok, and seriously, tomorrow morning's announced my first book, Why We Love Star Wars: The Great Moments of a Galaxy Far, Far Away, available on Amazon through Mango Publishing. I was very scared to put that out in the world because Star Wars fans are the best. That's out tomorrow.
Ken, why did you not have when Lando almost got swallowed by the Sarlacc pit at number 7?
I'm embracing for impact.
At Claudia Dolph across the board, and coming in May, I am developing right now a Latinx superhero podcast series for New Podcasting Network. So that should come out May 18th. So keep an eye out for that. Dorina's going to be involved with it as well. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Mark?
All right, you can find me tonight. I'm doing jokes in your town, Columbia City Theater. It's like 20 minutes that away. You can get tickets at the door. We still have some available. So Ken's going to be on the show. Claudia and Dorina are going to be hanging out, chilling. You can still get like meet and greet packages, all that good stuff. So coming out to Columbia City Theater tonight. And I got these cool postcards printed up. So if everybody wants to take one so that I don't have to, that'd be fantastic. I'll sign it. I'll do whatever the hell you want. Otherwise, Mark Ellis Live across all social media platforms. You guys were a great crowd. And how about a hand for Dorina?
Where can we find you, Dorina?
I am at Evil Dorina on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find me on Collider Live, sometimes with these awesome folks. Yeah, one Collider Live fan over there. Woo! That's right. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I hope you have a great time, and see you soon, I hope.